Welcome along to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
If you're fascinated by rugby strategy, by what really makes teams successful, well, you're definitely in the right place today.
hmm
We're diving into an article from May 7th, 2025, titled, Why Springbok Icon Rassie Erasmus Has the Biggest Brain in Rugby.
Catchy title.
It is, isn't it? And this piece really tries to unpack his coaching genius.
Yeah.
Our mission today is to pull out those key things that make him such a big figure.
And it seems like a good time to do it, with his success still pretty fresh.
Exactly. And hey, if you want to keep up with all our deep dives into rugby topics like this, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession. You won't want to miss out.
So kicking things off, what really grabs you first in this article? For me, it's that transformation.
Oh, absolutely.
You look at September 2017, that huge loss, 57-0 against the All Blacks.
Yeah, tough one to forget.
And then just 2 years later, they're lifting the World Cup, beating England 32-12 in the final.
It's pretty staggering when you put it like that. A massive shift.
It really is. So the article digs into why. What caused such a rapid climb?
Well, one of the first things it points to is his skill in opposition analysis. Really exceptional, it says.
Okay, so not just watching tapes, presumably.
No, it's just something deeper. Like he properly dissects how teams play, finds the specific little weaknesses.
Right, and then builds counter strategies around
Yeah.
that. It makes you think, what does that actually look like in practice? Is it player tendencies, set piece triggers, that kind of thing?
The article sort of implies it's very granular, doesn't it? Maybe, yeah, looking at how certain players react under pressure or predicting tactical changes based on who's on the field.
So it allows the Springboks to be proactive, not just reactive, to kind of disrupt the other team's flow before it even starts.
Yeah, exactly. But then there's this other layer. The article mentions psychological mind games.
Ah, yes, the mind games. Always an intriguing part of top-level sport.
It hints he's got a real knack for getting a mental edge. How do you think that works in rugby?
Well, the piece doesn't spell it out completely, but you can imagine, can't you? It could be how he talks to the media, maybe framing narratives, or perhaps it's about building this, unshakable belief within his own squad, making them feel 10 feet tall.
Or even subtle tactics on the field designed to make the opposition doubt themselves.
Could be. It's fascinating, influencing the mental battleground just as much as the physical one.
But it's definitely not all about the tough stuff, the strategy and the psychology. The article really stresses his precise man management.
Right. And this seems key.
It highlights that he genuinely cares about the players, asks about their families, their lives outside rugby.
And that personal investment, that's huge, isn't it? The article calls his ability to connect like that a gift.
It does, and you can see why, in a sport that demands so much unity and trust.
Exactly. If a coach shows he cares about you as a person, not just a player, that builds incredible loyalty, that shared purpose.
It makes players feel included, special, valuable. That's what the article says. And that surely translates to how they play.
Without a doubt. It fosters that us against the world mentality sometimes, but in a really positive, connected way.
And he's not someone standing still either. The piece underlines his constant push for innovation, for improvement, always looking for the next edge.
Yeah, that adaptability. Rugby changes so fast you can't afford to rest on your laurels.
So he's always tweaking tactics, finding new training methods.
It implies that, yeah. A sort of proactive, evolving coaching style. Always looking for ways to get more out of the players and the system. Keeps things fresh. Stops them becoming predictable.
Which leads to the future ambition mentioned, guiding South Africa to 3 consecutive World Cups.
Wow. Yeah, that's aiming high. Unprecedented stuff.
And the article mentioning the 2023 win, saying it's still fresh, it grounds that ambition, doesn't it? Shows it's built on actual recent success.
Absolutely. It really cements his impact, that legacy he's building.
So the author throws this question out there, a big one. Is Rassie the greatest rugby coach of all time?
That is a big question. Provocative.
It certainly makes you think. Based on what this article lays out, what aspects of his approach do you, the listener, find most impressive? We genuinely love to hear your opinions.
Yeah, get in touch with Rugby Obsession. Let us know your thoughts.
You can find ways to comment or message us easily. And speaking of Rugby Obsession, if you're finding this interesting, do make sure you're subscribed so you get all our future deep dives.
For me, reflecting on the article, what really stands out is how multifaceted it portrays him.
How so?
Well, it's not just the tactics or just the psychology or just the man management. It's the blend.
Right.
The article suggests he's a tactical mastermind, sure, but also a really astute psychologist and, crucially, a deeply empathetic leader.
So it's the combination, the IQ and the EQ, sort of.
Exactly. That blend of, let's say, intellectual firepower and emotional intelligence. The article paints that as his unique strength, what sets him apart.
That makes sense. You look at that turnaround we talked about, the sustained success.
Yeah.
It points to a philosophy that's strategically brilliant, but also just really understands people.
Yeah. Building a strong culture seems just as important as the game plan in the picture the article paints.
Well, we hope this deep dive into the article, Why Springbok Icon Rassie Erasmus Has the Biggest Brain in Rugby, has given you some valuable insights into his coaching approach.
Yeah, definitely food for thought. His role in that Springbok transformation, the tactical stuff, the player management, it's all clearly significant.
So what are your main takeaways after hearing this? We're genuinely interested in your perspective on Rassie's impact.
Let us know.
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. We really look forward to you listening to our next episode.